Morning guys, we just had the qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. Wow, what a qualifying session we've had. That was very, very unusual. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start at the very first session, Q1, where it all kicked off massively. Sergio Perez went out, made a mistake, turned 3, locked his wheel, out. Is that his championship battle over? I sent a tweet out straight away. Sergio Perez's title challenge ends right here. Probably a bit premature. I mean, it's only week 3, to be honest, or round 3, should I say, of the season. But these are the mistakes that Max Verstappen doesn't make anymore, and Sergio Perez can ill afford that. He's starting last tomorrow. Well, that was a big shock. I mean, he came on the radio saying that they've still not fixed the issue that he's had with the car, so he was carrying some sort of problem, because even in practice 3 he went off 4 times, so it was just like he was all over the place, wasn't he, Sergio? Couldn't get the hookup right, but everybody was struggling on the circuit, as we found out, and it was a strange session because it looked like we might get rain, we might not get rain, but with a dry session, but everyone ran it like we get a wet session, you know. Constantly just kept running around, driving around, instead of coming in for, you know, just doing the one lap, getting rid of the tyre because it's useless. But it was sort of the second, third lap where the tyre was sort of coming right into the zone and they were able to get the fastest time out of it. So we've seen that all the way through the session, even straight into Q3, which was really unusual. But great to see because there was a lot of action and a lot of cars on track. Bottas will start P19. He got a bit of traffic, but he did come on the radio saying, kind of thought that's where we'd be, but he'll be disappointed with that. He's been out qualified by his teammate again. Logan Sargent in P18, he will be disappointed. He had a spin on his first lap, just struggled to get to grips with the circuit and the conditions, unfortunately for him. Zhou Guanyu again finished in P17. I think that's sadly just where the Alfa Romeos are at the moment. Homeboy Oscar Piastri is going to start P16. He will be disappointed. He missed out by just a few thousandths of a second, or hundredths, on to getting into Q2. He will be disappointed. His teammate was P12 in that session, so there was potential to do that. So he'll be disappointed. It's his home race, but a P16 start for him. And that was a story. Q1 was really Perez out. I mean, the big title contender, so to speak, went out straight there. And it was Verstappen led the front, and it was close at the front. It was just 0.2 seconds by Russell and Hamilton, and we thought, oh, could the Mercedes right be in there? But you know, it was early sessions, and then we got into Q2. I mean, this is a very, very tight session. From P3 down to P11, there was a difference of about 0.2, so literally there was nothing in it, and it's been like that throughout the whole session, which was really, really good to see. I mean, we expect the Red Bulls to be absolutely miles out front, but it was really, really close up at the front throughout the whole time, throughout the whole session, which was really strange and unique, but it made for a great session because you just didn't know who was going to end up where. Nick De Vries will start in P15, Kevin Magnussen in 14th. He's been out qualified by his teammate again, Nico Hulkenberg, on a mega one for qualifying. Lando Norris is going to start the race in 13th. He beats his teammate, and I think sadly that's just where the McLarens are at the moment. Yuki Tsunoda starts in P12, Ocon in 11th. He was really disappointed. He was coming on the radio saying he got some traffic at the end, but he's been beat by his teammate as well. Alex Albon was a star in that session again. He was a master of the middle sector throughout. He even got the purple sector even in Q3, but he made it into P10. A brilliant performance from him in the Williams. Really didn't expect him to be that far up front. Probably shows how disappointed with job Sargent's on the P18. But Albon is really, really shining in that Williams. He's really leading the light, leading that team forward. Gasly started in P8, a good qualifying for him. He beats his teammate, his new teammate, after just 3 races into the season. And it was Verstappen leading the way again, but it was Alonso, the chaser, and Sainz again, just 0.2 in it to the front. So it looked like we were heading for a really tight qualifying session. The Red Bull of Verstappen, you know, you can tell he just had enough in it. But then we got to Q3 and it was all going off. Verstappen set the pace early on, and then just seemed to get a few scruffy laps in, and then as the tyres sort of started to get the second and third fast laps in, it was Hamilton at the front, and then we had Alonso, and it was absolutely brilliant to see. At one point we had 3 world champions, Verstappen, Hamilton and Alonso, 1, 2 and 3, and what a brilliant start to the grid was that. I mean, we were going some way back to see that sort of stats, so it was absolutely brilliant to see. But Nico Hülkenberg qualified in P10. I think he'll be a bit disappointed. He was quite high up at one point, but I think that's just where the Haas is, unfortunately. Gasly finished in P9, so decent qualifying performance from him. Alex Albon, absolute master of the Sector 2. He was purple all the way through, so they've set their car up really well to that straight. So hopefully, if there's a chance in the DRS, you know, that Williams is going to get through. He's got some pace, and he'd probably do well to hold off a few of the fight in front. Charles Leclerc will be really disappointed for Ferrari in P7. This is the weekend where I thought they'd have the resurgent. Sadly not. Stroll in P6. Decent qualifying for him, but was never really on it. He's been about 2/10 off Alonso's pace this weekend, and even in qualifying session. Carlos Sainz beats his teammate in a P5. A solid performance from him, especially given where Ferrari's performance is. Fernando Alonso qualified in P4. Now that's a surprise for me because I thought he'd be comfortably second. Aston Martin have had a really good car this weekend. He was fastest in practice 1 as well, wasn't he? So you know, expected them to be right up there. But the Mercedes were the big surprise of this weekend. Lewis Hamilton qualified 3rd place. George Russell, his teammate, beats him into 2nd place, out-qualifies him again. That's 3-0 to Russell in qualifying. He's done a brilliant job. I mean, it was really tight between the two. And Verstappen, he pulled it off at the end when it mattered. A 16.5, an absolutely mega lap. But again, only 0.2 in it ahead of the two Mercedes. It's strange how really quite close they are. I mean, the Mercedes, we were saying, are about 2nd behind the Red Bulls, and that might show tomorrow in the race pace. Expect Verstappen to just fly off in the distance. But if we have these kind of conditions, it might be where we see the other teams can really take it. But wow, from Mercedes, what an upturn. They'll be massively excited with that, and if they can get a double podium tomorrow, they'll be absolutely over the moon, won't they? But this is the race for Perez, I suppose. Max Verstappen started in 15th last weekend, and managed to get up into P2. He did look out with a really handy safety car though, so that kind of did put a bit of an extra shine on how close he was. He did get a bit of a helping hand with that, but he was right up there with P2. Can Perez do the same in a car that we know is faster than the rest? And this is going to be a real test for him, Sergio, tomorrow. Hopefully he can get whatever issue he said fixed, but he seemed to have the issue all throughout practice. It's shown its head in Q1 in qualifying, and probably the worst time to do it in his first lap. He lost it. But yeah, let's see. It will be a brilliant race tomorrow, I think, considering how close they all are up at the front. Can the two Mercedes hold on for some podiums? Verstappen, I imagine he'll just be off in the distance, but you never know with it being this close. And Sergio Perez has got it all to do from the back of the grid, so we got kind of mixed up field here at the Australian Grand Prix. Really looking forward to get up nice and early in the morning again. But yeah, fantastic qualifying session, absolutely buzzing. Well worth the early morning start. Thank you, AusGP. I'll see you tomorrow for the race. Thanks for watching. Thank you.